So this feels a bit unfamiliar to me. My heart's really been in music lately, and even before COVID, before everything was shut down, I kind of stepped away from the mic, and it's been a slow go to get back into it, but I'm excited to be here. So I thought a lot about what I wanted to share with everyone. For me, art, poetry, is always a space for vulnerability. And that's kind of always where I want to come from. And what took me away from the stage when I initially took a step away was I didn't want to be vulnerable. I didn't want to share what I was going through. So what I brought here today is what I'm going through, it's what I've been going through. It's my journey with recovery and getting back here and being able to do this. First piece is called Hand-Me-Downs. I get glimpses of him. Starry-eyed, new bird, alpine boy. Before time took its pieces, collected debts his ancestors owed, their quilted flesh, a tethered bond to existence, we pay for the living. This piece is called Pretty Girl. Sweet and sour goodbyes echo like gumdrops down a flight of stairs. A silent death, slow and steady, falling fingers of the hoarder force feeds the emptiness. Cry of burdened bone, repetitious creaking of the body. Whose wish was this? Denying supplement for suppleness, delicately laying waste to the outer layer, one piece at a time, one bite at a time. This dying needs to stop before the last tooth loses its place, before he's left too unpretty at last. Really experimenting with doing short pieces, so those always feel awkward. But this is a much longer piece. This piece is called Weakness. For a man with so few boundaries, I think I've set too many limits. My vision looks towards too many moons. You are not the sun, though you too aren't infinite. You aren't bound by the convictions of another body's time. You have time and choices. You have power, hidden and visible. You have fears and excuses. You aren't momentary. This evident in the way you move, how you stumble without thinking. You aren't singular or simple. I think they mold you. Forget the moving parts. Silence your screaming because crackhead moms are easy to comprehend, and the words of 9.5-year-olds are oceans meeting fast stones. I wish I could hold his 9.5-year-old hat. I wish I could hold his 9.5-year-old hand, remind him he is brave, he is sassy at all the right moments, his anger is nothing to be ashamed of, and the only reason they surrender to silence is because no one ever taught them to sing. So belt, with tears in your eyes because you miss her, and you wish you knew him better. Hum so loud it vibrates the trees, and we are lingering like the proud month of a star. I want to be strong, to be brave, but today, I don't think I am. I was really unsure about reading this piece, but I'm going to read it. It's called Monsters. The monster's back. It never really left. Just made me look crazy in all directions, talking fast, connecting too many dots, confused about trust, doubt, and bad decisions. There was a calm. Then it came creeping, whispering something about train stations, the potential of intravenous drugs, and whether or not to leave a letter. I'm exhausted, tired of pills and pain, crystal balls, the emotional bearing of almost loved, almost getting fired, almost staying sobered, almost dying. Isolation has a way with the mind. I'd like to say my net state of emotion was a result, but truthfully it's the other way around. I'd like to say a stay-at-home order triggered this, but isolation was a fixed point in my weakened memory, afternoon brain. I don't think there's a way to kill this monster without medicating it first. I know the perfect poison. Maybe it will kill me too. Maybe I want it like to. Triple like excuses are released for public consumption. 7 times the mystery, 7 times the cool, like I'm fooling anyone. I flash like a beacon, the wrong kind of red, blood-colored, barely escaping the darkness, a shadow of itself, wrapped in okays about being okay during a time when you're definitely not okay. But hey, that's mania. It stills reason. Slavish shiny gloss, bearable, convenient into your 4 days deep and your eyes hurt, everything hurts, but you're afraid to fall asleep because you miss the details in your enemy's slips. And finally, you have proof that someone's been in your room, someone's listening and watching. The footsteps you hear telling isn't just guilt tap dancing towards your demise, but you know for certain no one's ever there, and they never will be. But hey, delusions work both ways, don't they? By the English 5. The politics of the limbs, evident in misdirection, an unguided hand idle in its ways, finds how to make light of weighty shadows, rolls them up, crushes them into bits of smoke, clouds to roll over, crystal moons, or nights made up of madmen fornicating with shame, endless virginity. A touch lasted too long, a wanting persisted. It swelled, became purple and rigid, till it burst, sticky and clotted red. What else aren't there for hands to do when rating breaks skin? The infection rises to the surface, a sweet rock you can't get out because your body loves to remember. Four days deep. 1. Fourth restless day, or is it the first? The voices come in droves, he can't tell where they're coming from. 2. His crimson eye stares into a mirror, a crystal ball. When he spits, it's the same color. I wonder if he'll ever get the rot out, if his blood will smell the same when it leaves his body, now that it's weaponized. He made waves at the fringe, acting like he belonged there, or the longing to escape the agony of loneliness. Long nights spent on knees begging men to love him, even when he forgot to ask their names. I stopped wanting to know. 3. Who would have ever loved that monster? 3.5. Now I keep him at bay. Idle weekends remind you of last kisses, how it filled you with sex, it emptied everything else, how it made you buzz in all the right places, a loud, brittle bone to make room for phallic things. This fascination with death, getting lost in the fluidity of loose men, flaccid because they think, they know someone's watching. You, us, me. Death takes his place in the room. Slipping his finger between my cracks, his sweet rotted flesh poking the small of my back. Death takes his place in me, but I'm tired of dying, so I pull him out, take up space in the light, drag my bones from the damp hole I dug to let that shit air out. I surround myself with flowers to cover up the funk. 4. These days I get more sleep. I listen to the right voices.